Charles, what are you doing putting tape on your car?
I have to put numbers on my car.
Why?
Because I'm going to drive my car on a racetrack tomorrow.
Oh, cool. What kind of track?
A road course.
You gonna tell us where?
In Leduc, Alberta.
Good morning, everyone. Well, it's 10 to 7 in the morning. Going to RAD Torque Speedway here in Leduc. There's my car. I'm going to be running this car on the road course there. So let's go. So we're here at the RAD Torque Speedway. I'm just looking at the tower for the drag strip. There's the oval over behind the bleachers there. Stands for the quarter-mile drag strip. And over here is the road course, which is where I'll be going on. This is the entrance to the track, and I believe this is turn 2. So that's turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, turn 5, over here to turn 6, down the straightaway to turn 7. 2.7 kilometer road course. I'm excited. Never done this before. Not in my own vehicle. And I'm nervous. This here's the bus that will be taking a run around the track on. Give us an idea of what it's like. And here comes the ambulance. I guess it's here in case any of us kind of have a little incident today. So these are the cars that are in the group that I'm going to be running in. What's your favorite thing about driving?
It's very challenging, I think. That's what I most enjoy about it. It's very, very technical, very, just very enjoyable going around the track and, you know, going for the better lap time every lap.
How many times have you been on this track?
Oh, this will be my first time in a while, actually.
What other tracks have you been on?
Only this one, but this is my first time in like 2 years, just since COVID and everything.
Yeah, I read that about gaps between running on the track and having to go back to the beginning. And
right. So we'll see how I do today, but yeah.
Yeah. I've ran Daytona Speedway in a NASCAR.
Oh, really?
That's all my track experience I've ever had.
Are you driving today?
Yes, I'm driving the Camaro SS down.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, you'll have a blast.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good one.
speed. We're going to investigate what the curbs feel like at speed and whether you want to address them or not. And off we go. So everybody got a seat, everybody's ready to go. So this is our paddock area. This is where you park your cars. You're going to come off the track where that green tractor is. And when you come off, you're going to keep going all the way along that line of little cones, and you're going to follow it all the way to the end of that paddock where the trailers are. And then you're going to do a U-turn, and you're going to come back this laneway right here and drive into your stall the way you're pointing now. And so you never have to back into your stall. You just come in, go off, and park. Make sense? To get on the track, when it's your run group, we're going to have a steward, and he's going to be wearing some orange coveralls, and he's going to yell, "Hey, green group, time to get in your cars." You're going to get in your car, and you're not going to go on the track until your instructor is in the seat with you. If your instructor's not with you, it means they're dealing with another student or something. They will get to you, and then you guys can strap in and get off onto the track. To get on the track, then you're going to pull forward, and you're just going to pull forward, and you're going to queue up down this laneway here on our left. Just going to let the black truck through. So what you're going to do is, when the previous run group is on, they're going to be getting a checkered flag, and they're going to do their final cool down lap. So you're going to just park here on the right. You're going to leave it open a little on the left. But basically, we're going to, when it's time for your run group, this is our starter here, and he's going to bring you up here. And you're going to park here, and he's going to hold you. And he's looking for a gap down that straightaway. And he's doing his best. It's hard to see, but he's going to hopefully leave a gap for you. But when he says it's time to go, he's going to point you, and he'll say go, and it means go time. And it's a tight turn here. There's traffic coming over your right shoulder. But basically, stay left, and we're on the track, and this is turn 2 that we're just out of. This is a passing zone. We have 5 straightaways for the novices, so this is one of the passing zones here because it's a straightaway. So the first corner we get to is turn 3, and this is a banked curve. And it's almost a complete hairpin where it goes all the way back and starts going the opposite direction. You notice we've got a little turn cone here. It actually says turn on it. It's just over our shoulder on the left side. You'll see it again. But basically that's your point to turn over and start heading over to the apex. But in this corner, the apex is way, way over on the other end of the track. You see that big, tall, orange delineator cone there? That's how late the apex is. So what an apex is it's where you come down and clip the inside of the track. So we're going to stay high for about 3/4 of the way through this lap, through this complex here. You're not going to go right up to the grass. You're going to be about 3/4 of the way up for about 3/4 of the way around. And we put a couple of cones here just to help you out. But if you've set the wheel and forget it, you twist the wheel a little bit, it's going to bring us right down to the apex. Here's our late apex. We've got some curbing on the inside to help you with that as well. So you come right next to the apex, and we come back out onto another straightaway. This one's really short, and we're doing some crossing over, so there's no passing on this straightaway. But we come out, but then we've got to get ourselves back over to the right-hand side to set up for another one of these hairpin turns. We put some 200 and 100 markers just to remind you of how close you're getting to the turn point, but up ahead here, notice the turn cone. It's very late. You got to be patient and wait for it. So you're right next to the grass. And our apex, again, is that single cone on the inside of the grass all the way over there. Very, very, very late apex. So we're going to be very patient, wait for the turnover, and then you're going to hold it fairly high up here for quite a while. But if you bring it down carefully, if we enter late, turn down late, it presents the bus or your car almost straight down the straightaway, not pointing over there, but actually pointing down the straightaway. So we really want to make sure we hit these apexes early on. This is a game of inches. Notice our turn worker in turn 4 has a yellow flag out. So this is one of our flag stations where we communicate and direct driver behavior. So you'll see flags at these stations sometimes. Also notice this green tall cone here. That's marked start. That is the start of one of the passing zones. We put a green cone and a red cone at the end of each of the passing zones, just to remind you, to help you remember that, oh yeah, this is a passing zone. And we'll get into passing later in the driver meeting. So we come out and we have a cone on the exit of each corner. Just helps you remember that you're going to bring the car out wide. Another straightaway, so we would be pointing cars out on our left here. We would stay right and we point them by in this particular straightaway. 300 brake marker, 200 brake marker, 100 brake marker. There's the end cone right there. And here's our turnover cone right here. Turn. Notice where the apex is. It's over there on the grass. See that cone over on the grass? So we wait till there's actually a bit of a bump. There's a new patch of asphalt right behind us. I'll back up for you so you can see it. There's a new patch of asphalt, and there's actually a bit of a bump here. And it's at this bump about where you turn the car down over to the apex. So it helps remind you, but it does unsettle the car a little bit. But be prepared for it. And so we bring the car over. We bring it right next to this apex, right next to the grass, and we hug the grass now for this little stretch. But we're looking up to turn 6 ahead here. Another turn cone marked turn. Turn, head over to the apex inside here. This is turn 6. Another green cone to remind us that this is a straightaway where we can allow cars to pass. So slower car will stay on the left side in this case, and we point them by over the roof or with the right-hand signal light. We have brake markers here in this particular one, 300, 200, 100. There's the end of the passing zone. You want to get all your passing done in a straight line, so we put an end cone there. And this is turn 7. It rewards you again with a late turn in. Be patient on the turnover. Clip the apex on the inside there. But this part of the track from turn 7 to 8, they actually paved like a highway, a public highway. So it's actually crowned up in the middle, and it drops off on your right and it drops off on your left. So it's high in the middle and it's got camber on both sides, just like a public highway. And we're going to be crossing over that camber as we head over to the turn cone way off in the distance for turn 8. You see the turn cone there, the white one way off in the distance? So we're entering over on the right hand side, and then we're crossing over the this camber, this funky camber. We're crossing over it. So you really want to make sure that you start on the right side of the camber to start with, and then as you get through the apex and just past the apex, then you can let the car come over the hump and send it over to the left side to prepare for the hairpin up ahead. So turn over. Turn 7 corner worker, see the flag? So again, we just graze the curbing on the right, cross over this hump, and now we're on the left side of the camber, waiting for this turn cone. This is another really tricky spot here. This is a complete hairpin turn where you're almost coming right back on yourself. There's 2 ways to do this corner, slow and wrong. This one you need to just slow the car down in this very short section that we're sitting in right now, and then you need to gather it up and bring the car over to the curbing and collect the apex over there where that cone is. If you overcook it and you hurry it, all you're going to do is just plow wide. If you don't get your braking done in enough time, there is actually a little bit of extra asphalt here. We don't normally drive over here next to the grass on this part. So if you do overcook it and you come in a little too fast, there is a little bit of time for you to still slow the car down. You're not going to make your apex anymore over there, but you are going to be able to get your car slowed down and then turn it right. Worst case scenario, if you really overcook it, you'll go into the grass, but there's no rocks, there's nothing to hit over there. It's just wide open prairie. So very simple, very safe, but again, late apex, patience on the turnover, large steering input to get over here, accelerate over to the apex, clip the apex. You're going to use whatever real estate you need over here at speed, but we need to get ourselves back to the turn cone over here for a 90-degree left-hander. So at the very last minute, we get ourselves parallel with the grass. We don't want to be pointing at the airport at this point. We do want, at this point, we want to be parallel with the grass. And another aggressive, hard turn input. Most of the driving around the track is like you're chauffeuring somebody. You're just doing this. But in these last two corners, it's this. We turn over and hard over to the curbing. You can even actually run the car just up on the curbing. Stay tight on the grass, because we've got a very quick turnover here again to another curb with another 90-degree turn. Apex on the inside there with another aggressive turn to the right with an out to the left on the curbing. So we aggressive turn, unwind the wheel as we pass the apex, bring it on out to the curbing. Another green cone. This is a very short passing zone. We're going to point by on the right here if we do allow a car or two by. Brake markers, 200, 100, end of the passing zone, red cone, turn cone. This is what we call our chicane, turn 13. Another flag station up here, and this one is slow, but it sets you up importantly for a very long straightaway. So whatever you can do to get the maximal speed out of that little second part of the chicane really affects how fast you can go down the straightaway. So we want to approach this. You're coming in with quite a bit of speed. You're going to nibble over and collect that first turn cone on the curbing on your right. You're going to need to apply just a slight amount of brakes as we get up here, and I'll pull us up there now. So we turn over. We grab the curbing over here. And then at this point we need to just a tight visit of the brakes, and what that does is it unweights the rear of the car, puts a lot of weight on the front, allows the front to get some grip, and it allows the rear to be light and come around, because this is really, really tight. And as soon as we turn the corner, grab the cone, we should be getting on the gas right now. We can start unwinding the wheel. The unwind comes very quickly. We're going to make a beeline over to the curbing over there, but basically we're trying to make a straight line now all the way down the straightaway. So this is very important that as you cross that threshold of the apex at the back of the bus, you want to be getting on the gas, hard on the gas, attaching the cone here, and then let the car come out wide to the left side of the track where the driving line is. This is another passing zone, so we're going to let cars by putting the hand over the roof or the right hand signal on. So we're almost at the end of the lap. So 300, 200, end of the passing zone, 100, turn. We're going to stop here. So this is quite high speed through here, and we're making a beeline for that turn cone that's way over there on the gravel near the man with the umbrella. We don't necessarily want to be quite so tight like on all the other apexes. This one, there's a bit of a bump right next to the curbing. And when they originally built this track, this was a lot tighter. All those tires were like twice as close as they are now. So they've opened up that area a couple years ago and made this way wider and way more open. So it's actually smarter to be about half a car width off the curbing here, off this apex. And it avoids the little bump that's near the apex. And it allows you to approach this 1-2 complex with a gentler arc instead of diamonding, going straight to that turn cone and then having to rotate the car and straight over to turn 2 where that building is, where that little hut is. You can come in a little bit gentler arc and make a headway over to the gravel where that turn cone is. So we're going to be about half a car width off here, not right next to the curb. We're going to bring it on out to here till we get to the turn cone. But our eyes are going to be looking for Apex 2, and I think we need to pick a guy up on the bus. That holiday Friday morning traffic, eh? All right, so we've just done one lap. This is the turnover point. But we can't actually see the apex. It's kind of hidden. The apex is just behind that Argyle Motorsports sign on the white wall there. But that's where we want to be aiming for. And as soon as we've crested through the apex of 1, our peripheral vision is going to pick up this turn cone and where we're placing our car here, but our eyes should be over there. And if you notice, there's actually a little depression. If you read this asphalt, there's actually quite a depression in the, it actually banks down nicely into the grass right at the end of the corner here. So we want, I call that a pocket, and we actually want to aim the car so it collects the pocket, and the pocket helps bring the car around the curve. If you're outside of the pocket, it tends to spit the car way wide, and we're not set up nicely then for the important straightaway afterwards. So the idea is you want to collect that turn point, approach this pocket, get the car in the pocket, kiss the curbing on the inside, get the apex, and then come on out. So as we get closer, this is this little depression, this little pocket, and if you can get the car, it's just as wide as the whole car. There's our apex, there's our coat, and we let the car run wide, we release the steering wheel, we unwind, bringing it on out to the curbing here. Again, start through another passing zone if we want to get. So hold on now, we're going to take this at speed and see what it feels like, okay? Everybody ready? All right. Turn 3, 300, 200, 100. In the passing zone, stay high, about 3/4 of the way up, all the way around. Hold on. Bring the car down. See, I haven't touched the wheel, and it brings it right to the apex. Let it come wide. Keep it arcing back to the grass. Go deep, 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 deep. Patience, patience, patience. Look left. The apex is way up there. Out to the wall. As close to the wall as you're comfortable. The closer the better, but it's only if you're comfortable. Turn 5, there's a bump and then a turn. Wait for it. 300, 200, in the passing zone. Bump. Turn. Curbing. Run the grass. Look wide. Flip. Out to the edge. Another passing zone. We can pass by. Everybody okay? Yeah. Flip. Heavy, heavy, heavy. Brake, 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 brake. Wait for it. Wait for it. Now turn. Use what you need over here, but then we got to get parallel. Not pointing at the airport at the last minute. There we're parallel. Big, big turn. Big, big turn. Tight, tight, tight. And another one. Out to the curbing. Everybody cool? All right. Chicane coming up. Last turn before the straightaway. Little bit of brake, brake, brake. Tight on the inside. Little dab of the brake. And then on the gas. Accelerating straight now. Down the straightaway. Here we go. Last of the fast laps, and then we'll address the curbing. Here we go, here we go, here we go. This is the passing zone. You point over on the right. Brake marker, 300, 200, 100. Accelerate across the apex, looking right. Here's the pocket. And there's the curve. That's a lap. So we're going to take it slow down. We're just going to look at these curves. There's two types of curbing. There's a different profile depending on the exit of the corner or the apex of the corner. Sometimes you can use the curbing to your advantage, but sometimes it upsets the balance of the car. So I'm actually going to hit the curbing intentionally hard to show you what happens. Oh, the poor birdie. See, if you hit that curbing too hard, it really upsets the car. And that's the exit curbing. It's a bunch of alligators, and your wheels are bouncing up and down on that. So you want to be careful touching some of that curbing. Some people will use it. Here's another bump. If we hit it too hard, it really upsets the car. Brake, 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 brake. Off the brakes. Accelerate across the apron here. Here's another hard curve. if we hit it at 10 stops, set the vehicle a bit. So you just want to kiss them. You don't want to ride them hard. Here's another one. We'll bounce it. It kind of upsets us and then it puts us out here on this alligator. So that's the curve. Okay. This is that funny camber. We're on the right side, now we're on the left side. We get the car settled down when it gets wings level. Patience, patience, patience. Turn. Flip. Apex. Come out and then bring it back. Get parallel at the last second. We're at the airport, but now we're parallel. Hard, hard turn. Aggressive. You can touch the curbing here. Put it right next to the grass. Kiss the curbing here. If you run it out here, it gets a little bumpy. Okay, so this is how we get off the track, is if you want to leave the track where it's the end of your session, this is the exit. So you stay at speed here, you put your arm out the window like this, and that means the traffic behind you know that you're going this way and they can continue driving that way. Event. It's for you that are signed up. If you have a buddy that shows up later this afternoon, you can't just toss them the keys and say, hey, try it out there on the track. This is for you folks only. You're definitely allowed to have guests here. They can watch from various vantage points, including the grandstands. So we use a system of flags to communicate and direct driver behavior. First things first though, you have an instructor with you all times today until you're signed off solo. Most people, a large number of you, will get signed off likely at the end of the day or near the end of the day. But you have a contract with your instructor and they have a contract with you. They want to go home to their loved ones at the end of the day. They want you to go home to your loved ones safe and sound at the end of the day. And they want your beautiful cars to go home in one piece at the end of the day. So the onus is on them to try and do their best to keep you safe. And your end of the bargain, your end of the contract, is to listen and explicitly follow all of their instructions. And if you do that, you're going to have fun, you're going to learn something, and you'll be safe, and you'll go home with maybe just a few more bug splatters on the car than anything else. One last note. We have an open wheel formula car here today, which we often do. This fellow has just bought this car, and he's never driven it before on a racetrack in his life. So we're going to have him start in your run group today because he's going to be taking it slow, just figuring out this monster. And so your instructor is going to be watching mirrors for you, and they're going to be helping you out. He may or may not be going faster than you. He may be going slow this morning, just trying to figure out how to steer and turn this thing because he's got a whole lot going on with mechanical grip and aero grip. And at slow speeds, he will have no aero grip. He'll be relying on just the tires, and it's going to really suck for him around the corners until he gets up to speed and he starts allowing the wings to push the car down and grip him around the corners. So he's going to be joining you in that class in your sessions to start with. So watch your mirrors. If he does get you caught up to you, he has to wait just like everyone else until a straightaway. Then you can point him by, give him lots of room, or if you come up on him and he's actually going slower than you and he points you by, now he may not be able to get his whole arm out the cockpit. So watch for, he may only get a finger out. Not that finger, the other finger. Okay? So watch for him, he may only be able to get a hand out of these cockpits because they literally kind of shoehorn you in, and then there's not really, you can't just get your arm out. You're driving like this. So watch for his signals. Make him aware that you're there, and be aware of him if he's there, and give him lots of a wide berth, and cut him some slack. He's just learning this beast today. So that's it. Any questions? Go ahead.
Just a general question.
Yeah, sure.
How did you found Track Junkies? What's the origin of this club?
So I've been to probably 1,000 track days all over North America, from New York to Texas to Washington to California, Arizona. We've seen some really well-run track days like ours. We've seen some really poorly run runs. So there's a great one in southeastern United States called Chin Track Days. They are like the best of the best. So we wanted to model ourselves after them. So we developed this novice education program where you've got an instructor in the car with you, giving you turn by turn, line by line instruction. a lot of other places. Porsche driving school, for instance, you know, if you buy a Porsche and you go to Alabama and places like that, they have a lead follower where they got a guy up in a car, 3 cars ahead of you, there's 3 of you and you're all on radios and he's yammering away at you and you're 4 cars back and he's talking about a turn that you're... So we've got instructors in the car with you, they're keeping you safe, they're giving you instruction. When you're not there, you're in here. And we have the CMRT rescue team. We've got an ambulance as well, and that has 2 trained paramedics in, as well, always on standby right next to the track. So we like to think that we kind of did the best of what we've seen across North America. And this is our opportunity to induct some new junkies into the fold. It's a great rewarding sport. We're not making racing drivers out of you. We're making better precision drivers from you. You're going to be able to explore the limits of your car. And we are doing it in a safe, controlled environment where you can enjoy your car.